Hey there, it's Kathy with Be Creative with Kathy, and oh my gosh, someone's at the door. No, I think it's the mailman. Okay, I don't know. Anyway, I'm not going to answer the door now. But anyway, as promised, I said in my July videos I was going to share with you some of my favorite projects, or I guess products, from the July online exclusives. So I'm going to make a card. Well, I'm not going to make a card. I'm going to make a pendulum card. I guess it's a card. Anyway, blah, blah, blah. But before I do that, I want to show you one of my favorite products. It's a punch bundle from the online exclusives. And it's a leaf. Let's see if you can, oh yeah, you can see the leaf punch. Now it's a pretty big leaf that's in this punch bundle. That's the punch. And this is the stamp set. This one, because I can't pass up a good punch, was one of the no-brainers that I was going to get when I saw the online exclusives. Okay, so love a good leaf. Let me show you just a few cards that I've made with this one. Let's put them over here. So this was my first card. I think this was my first card, and all I did was clear emboss on a maybe I white embossed. That's white embossing. I took white embossing powder on a white cardstock and stamped all those leaves, and then I just used my blending brushes and did the background. So that's how I did the background, and then stamped with this stamp here in the brown on there, and look how cute. Now my leaves, I spritzed them with water, I curled them up in a ball, and then flattened them out again, so that's how I got the texture on those leaves. And then this is part of the, not the poo words, I always call them the poo words, whatever that bundle is. So there was my first card using this bundle with the punch bundle. My second card was Case from the Catalog, and it looks like this. Now they used Blackberry Bliss with the golden glow, and that was really pretty, but I didn't have two-tone cardstock, because when you rough up the edges, that's what I did here, was rough up the edges of that two-tone cardstock, and that's how you get that white border on there. I didn't have that, but I had the Cajun Craze, and I thought that turned out cute. What makes this card are these little curly Q thingies here. So let me just show you real quick what I did. I'm not going to show you, I'm going to kind of tell you and kind of show you. I just took a pencil and some linen thread, and I wrapped it around my pencil pretty tight. And then I spritzed it with just plain old water, took a paper towel and kind of got that water out of it, and then I heated it or dried it with my heat tool. And then this is what you get, is something like this. And look how cute that is. So I plan to use this on some more cards, but if you want little curly cues on your card like this, that's just one way to do it with some linen thread. And I thought it turned out really cute with those little curly cues on there. Okay, so then the last card is something like this, which I bought this gingham designer series paper, also part of the online exclusives in July. Come on, Kathy, get your months. So I wanted, anyway, that's what I used, the gingham designer series paper. There you go, there's my two leaves, a little bit more of linen thread, but this card opens like this, and then it opens like this. And I thought the words that says a little something to say hello, thinking of you often, I thought that went really cute together. But there you go, there's my 3 cards that I made using one of my favorite bundles from the online exclusives, including the leaf punch, which now you can't see. There you can. Oh, you can see some other stuff too. Okay, so there's the bundle that I wanted to share. Now I'm going to show you the collection that I wanted to share. And this is what we're going to make our card out of. So let me get this out of the way. If you go to my gallery, this is kind of what you see, and I need all these measurements, so that's why I brought it in today. But this is the Frightfully Fun Suite, or you'll see the bundle is called Oh My Fright, I think, but it comes with a bunch of stuff, and I'm going to show you all the pieces in the suite, and then we'll make our project. So this is the designer series paper, and you'll see more of these patterns easier on the samples that I'm going to show you, because I have a bunch of these I've been getting ready for my Halloween class and trying to decide what to make, so I'll show you what didn't make the cut for my Halloween class. I'm not going to show you part of my Halloween class, because I want it to be a surprise for those people that actually come to class. Okay, designer series paper. This is the bundle. And now, unless you've been hiding in a cabin or you don't watch YouTube or anything like that, you've probably seen all of this bundle. But this is the die set. This is the stamp set. Look how cute that is. It also has an embossing folder, which if you watch my videos, you've seen me use this on Christmas cards. I think I shared it on a Christmas card earlier. Love this folder. In fact, right now, I think that might be my favorite current folder. There you go. Black, pretty shimmery black ribbon. Now I like to put one of these clear hair bands on my ribbon spools, and then that way the ribbon doesn't fall out. That's just what that is. But this is called, in fact, let's see what it's called, iridescent ribbon. But it has this pretty shine to it. It has really pretty edges. It's really soft. It's just a pretty black ribbon. And who can't use a black ribbon? Okay, there's my little hair thingy on there to keep my ribbon on the spool. Okay. Another thing are these cute bats, goats, and bass ghosts. That's easy for me to say. And dots. And I've been loving these. I use these on all my examples, so you'll see these when I show you my show and tell too. And then the last thing are little boxes like this. So that right there, get that ribbon, is part of the collection or the suite, which I think is the bomb. Okay, let me show you what those boxes look like. So I took a little box like this, covered him with some of that Frankenstein paper. Have you seen this paper? This is a new online exclusive too, and this is what I'll be featuring in my class. So I'm not going to share the paper with you, although you've probably seen it. It's all over YouTube right now. But look how cute those little boxes are, and they're pretty big. You could put a lot of stuff in there. The reason I bought these boxes is that's what I'm going to do for my grandkids for Halloween. I'm going to decorate them each a box. Look how cute the pumpkin is on there. And then they'll have something, I'll put something in there for Halloween for my grandkids. So there's just 2 samples of those little boxes. I thought they were adorable. I thought they turned out really cute. And if you notice, looky there, that's that little dot from the embellishments that just makes it complete by putting that little pupil in the center of their eyes. Okay, so that's one sample. Where do I start? Here's an easy one. That one don't count. That's the same kind of thing. Not even using the bundle we were talking about. I'm going to go from simple to fancy, I think is what I'm going to do. I'm going to start with this one. So if you watch my YouTube channel, you've seen this layout plenty of times. Look how cute that card is. I just put a little bit of bats, ghosts, and boo to you on the inside. But here, if you can see, I just clear embossed some ghosts. Why can't I say ghosts today? It keeps coming out goats. Anyway, some ghosts there, and then I embossed the bats back here. And this is all heat embossing. And then this, if you've seen that new folder set, and I'll share that with you another time, I took and embossed that with the mini folders. And then, of course, there's the Bats the Moon. These are all part of the die sets. And that Happy Halloween. And then those black dot embellishments again. And this is the Designer Series paper. Cute, right? Ooh, I think this is the Designer Series paper from this. So don't look at that. That's not part of the suite. Don't steer me wrong. Or don't let me steer you wrong. There we go. Okay, here's another one. Look at this one. There's that embossing folder. More parts of the die cuts. This I cut out from the Designer Series paper. Some of these dies cut out the little cats and some little ghosts. And look how cute that is. There's my favorite embellishments, those stars. They were part of a online exclusive, still available, I think in May. And then this is the big tag that comes in that die set too. Cute, right? More Designer Series paper right there. So I thought that turned out cute, very simple, nothing fancy. Then I thought, what if those little kitties weren't necessarily Halloween? So I fussy cut a few cats from the Designer Series paper and then just layered them on a card. Had to add those cute little butterflies. The in-color butterflies, you gotta love those. Look how cute that card turned out. And it's not Halloween at all. Well, it has the colors, but I still don't think it's Halloween-y. Is that a word? Okay, let's go to the next one. Then there's this one. Now, I cased this from a demonstrator, and doggone, I knew I was going to forget her name. I should have put a post-it note on the back, and I didn't. So if this is your card, you be sure and make a comment and let us know so we can give you kudos on her card. Oh, hi, Connie. Okay, so this one opens like this, and then this flips open, and then there's the inside. Look how cute that is. I'm going to do it one more time. Ready? Opens like this, and then flips open like that. Isn't that cute? Okay, you know what, now I just noticed the only part of this set that's the dies, or part of that, the bundle I'm talking about, is this in here. The rest of it is the paper, but I wasn't going to show you, except of course the dots embellishments. Okay, let's carry on. Let's go to this one. I think this one might be my favorite. And this is one that I was going to make tonight, but then I saw my other project and I think I like that one more, so we're going to go with that one instead of there. But look how cute this is, using those fabulous frames to put it, and then the ghosts or the bats kind of sit inside the frame. I don't know if you can see that here, but it's a really cute card. And then of course I just added an eerie inside. So there's that one. Okay, so are you ready to see what we're going to make tonight? Let me grab it here. And I was trying to figure out how on earth I'm going to show it to you, because it stands up like this, and that little ghost and bats swing back and forth just like a pendulum. It kind of reminds me of a grandfather clock. There, you can kind of see him swinging back and forth. But I decided I'll take a video later and I'll put it into the comments. And you can see him in action, because he is really fun when you get that little ghost swinging. There, you can almost see it there. But anyway, this is what we're going to make tonight. Oh, I missed one. Hang on, look what I almost forgot to show you. Look at this card. This is called a swiper card. Now this is more of that designer series paper, which I forgot to point out the designer series paper on the other ones. Anyway, but look, when you swipe it this way, that little ghost pops out from behind the fence. The fence is from that scarecrow bundle I showed you last time, which you got to have a good fence on a Halloween card. Look how cute that is. This is more the designer's paper. This is the designer series paper. I thought that was a really cute one. I like that one. Okay, back to tonight's project, because I ramble on, and you know that, so I guess you kind of expect it from me. And usually I say the wrong words like goats instead of ghosts, but what are you going to do? Okay, so before I go on, I want to tell you that this card, I have no place to put my stuff, is not new. This card has been around, or I guess I keep saying card, pendulum card, I guess it is a card, has been around for a long time. So I don't know how long I went and found this in my stash, but see how this little card goes like this? So there's different ways to make this card. You see him in there? This one, I used a dimensional. This one, we're going to use a brad. But the card has been around for a long time, and so it's not a new technique at all. But you can make stinking cute stuff, just like this reindeer flying through the sky. He doesn't swing near as well as the ghosts do, so I'll show you that one. But I'll explain to you when we get to that step how you could use a dimensional if you don't have any brads. But it doesn't have to be a fancy brad. You can even use those, I call them the schoolroom brads, you know, the little brass ones. That would work too. But enough of that. Let's start. Now, I haven't cut any paper. Well, that's not true. I've cut a little bit of paper, but we're going to do most of the paper cutting now. So the video might get long, and as you know, I do my video Facebook Live, and then I post it to YouTube. So if you don't want to sit while I cut paper, you could wait till I post it to YouTube, and then you can fast forward through all this stuff when I ramble on and cut paper. Okay, if you go, did I tell you this already? If you go to my gallery, this is kind of what you're going to see. And if you click on instructions, you'll get all the measurements right here. I don't hand write the instructions, but then that way at least you get the measurements in case you need them. Okay, let's start here. I have a piece of basic black cardstock, a full sheet, and we're going to just cut it in half, 4 1/4 by 11. So we're going to cut it the long way. Just like that. And then this needs to be scored at 5 1/2. So there is, get rid of the dark blade, use the light blade, and we're just going to score it here at 5 1/2. That's the first piece that we need. Okay, then we need another piece that's 4 1/4 by 2.5. So we know this is 4 1/4. I'm just going to cut it here at 2.5. And then this one, you'll notice, is the same size, right, as this cardstock. So I need to score this one. I'm going to get rid of this, and we're going to score it at a 1/2 inch. I use this side, and then 1 1/4, which would really be down the middle because it was 2.5, and we'll score that. And then you can even score it at a 1/2 inch on the other side, or you can score it at 2 inches this side. It wouldn't matter, it's just another 1/2 inch on the other side. So really my score marks are 1/2 inch, 1 1/4, and 2 on my 2.5 by 4 1/4 piece. Okay. Now we need one more. But you know, I'm going to do it. In fact, I need to upgrade because I'm going to change my mind, and I'm going to do this piece in two-tone cardstock. Two-tone cardstock is just a little thinner than basic cardstock, so I'm going to do it in two-tone cardstock. You can see it's light on this and dark on this, and then that way the card won't be so bulky up here at the top. I think that might make it a little better. Plus I have this scrap here that happens to be 2 inches because we need it 2 inches by a 1/2 inch. But to make things easier, I'm going to score this first, and then I'm going to cut it down to size. So it needs to be scored at a 1/2 inch. Oh, did I go too far? Did I cut through my paper? Okay, never mind. We aren't using the two-tone cardstock. Be careful when you cut it. I'm going to go this route. I'm going to use black because I scored too heavy and went through my two-tone cardstock, doggone it. Okay, let's try this again. So we're going to score this one at a 1/2 inch. Gently, I guess, because otherwise my heavy hand is going to go right through the paper. I hadn't thought about that, so it's, oh well, it doesn't work sometimes, and sometimes it does. And then 1 inch, and then I'm going to go to a 1/2 inch on the other side. Or it's a 1/2 inch, 1 inch, and 1 1/2 on your 2 inches of cardstock here. And then this needs to be a 1/2 inch long. So it's easier to score a bigger piece of paper cardstock. That's why I did it. And that's all we need is this little piece here. But I plan on making some more of these, and so now I have this all scored. All I have to do is cut it at 1/2 inch increments, and I can make a bunch more of these. Because my bowling buddies, I think, would like these. Okay, let me think for a second, make sure. No, the only things we need now are designer series paper. But you know what, I was looking in my pack, and I think I have scraps that we can use, and I don't have to cut any more paper. Okay, so we need one of these for the back. This is 5 1/4 by 4. Let's make sure. Yes, it is 5 1/4 by 4. And then look, I have a scrap here. Now this might not be the exact size, but I think it's going to be big enough. And let's see what size this is. This is just a scrap in my pile. It's about 1 3/4 by 1 1/2. That's not right. Not 1 1/2. 4 1/4. We might have to trim that down just a little bit. And then on the front, I want to do that cobweb, the same cobweb. Oh, you know what? That's not what I want for the front. Never mind. Let's go back. Come on, Kathy. Let me keep digging here. Find those swirlies. They're going to be on the back of something. Here it is on the back of here. No, the swirlies on the front. Come on. I want the cobwebs on the front. So let's see if I can find a cobweb. Here's a piece right here. Look, yeah, I found one. Piece of cobwebs. And then I'd like to find a swirly that is a scrap. I'm digging through my pile. You probably can't see it. I do have that. Oh no, we'll just use this scrap here. This here. Okay, we want this to be 3 3/4 by 5. So I'm going to cut this 3 3/4, 3 3/4 right here by 5 for the front. And then, that's right, now I had my little brain lapse there. This will go on here. And then this little swirly piece, I'm even going to measure. Oh no, I'm thinking of the wrong card. We don't need this swirly piece. That's all we need. We need a piece of basic gray that is 4 by 5 1/4. So I'm going to cut this 5 1/4 first. Boy, that was bad. You can see all the measurements on my gallery as soon as I finish posting my video on YouTube, and then I'll put them on there. And then that's easier anyway than me trying to tell you, because I had a brain fart, and that's what happens. Not a nice word, by the way. Hello, Rod. Okay, I have all my pieces and parts. The only thing I need to cut is a frame and a hole in my paper here. And look, this is going the wrong way, so that won't work. Hang on, I gotta find paper that's going in the right direction. We need it to be up and down instead of sideways. So dig, 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 find, there we go, this piece of work. And this is the one that needs to be 4 inches. And we're gonna cut away, so I'll save this section here for another card. I'm gonna just trim it over here because I think that moon is really cool. But 3 3/4, there we go, by 5. And I believe this is 6 inches. Yeah, and I'm going to cut off this top because I want more of that tree to show. So 3 3/4 by 5 1/4. No, Kathy. Oh my gosh, I give up. It's 4. There we go. 4. How many pieces of paper can you use before you get the right measurements? By 5 1/4. There we go. Finally, she gets it right. But like I said, on my gallery, becreativewithkathy.com, all the measurements will be right on there. Okay, this piece, I'm going to just go ahead and layer onto here. And this might be interesting because on my card, on the original card, I kind of did 2 layers of cardstock, and then I came back because we got to cut a hole in the front of them, and then I kind of laid my die in there and got it all straight. But this time I'm going to try to layer all 3 pieces of cardstock and see if we can't cut out 3 at a time. I think because one of them is a designer series paper and a little bit thinner than the other, than regular cardstock, it might work. Let's see what happens. So I have them all 3 layered like this, and now we're going to cut that hole right here in the front of our card. Now I'm going to use, this is what I couldn't remember, the Sweet Words die set, but if you have the beautifully celebrated dies, these would work too. I just like these because they have the stitching on them, but not everybody can get these, so I thought I'd show you the other ones too. So this would be the largest. I'm going to use this one later and this one now to cut my hole. Okay, so we're going to lay this on here. Try to get it somewhat centered. Have you given up on me? I have been pretty flaky this video, I'll tell you that. I am not a good video maker, but I think I'm a pretty good card maker. So stick around for the cards, and they might be entertaining too, I don't know, these videos. But I'm going to tape that into place, and now we're going to cross our fingers that I can get all 3 layers cut out at one time. Okay, so I have my platform here, my adapter, my cutting pad, and then I'm going to lay my paper on there, and then my top cutting plate, like that. Bring in my die cut machine. Okay, everybody, keep your fingers crossed. We'll see if this really works. And I'm going to run it through there, and then I'm going to run it back just to be sure. Shall we go one more time? It probably won't make a difference, but I'm going to go again. Just trying to get through. Thank you, Connie. I know that I am like out there. Trust me. It's okay. You should see when I'm not on camera how crazy it is. But anyway. Okay, now let's see if it cut through. Oh, and sure enough it did. No problem. Can we get that tape off of there now that I've pressed it into the paper so hard it's not even funny? Yep, if we go slow. There we go. And there, oh, and look at, there's the perfect little hole. Yay! Okay, now hang on to this die because we're going to need this again. And maybe I can use this tape again. Because what we need to do now is make the frame for the front of the card. And how I'm going to do that, if I can get my tape off of my... there we go. Yeah, I got it. Okay, now with that scrap of leftover cardstock, that black piece we have left, I'm going to go ahead and lay this one back down again, and then bring in that one that was a little bit bigger. And really, because they're close to the same size, I think it's easier to get your frame right. So does that look even all the way around? It does to me. So, oop, now I moved it. Not anymore. Get it so it's even all the way around. There we go. And then I'm going to tape it down. I'm going to move it a little bit this way. There. I think that's going to be good enough. Okay, now let's cut that out. This one will be much easier because we only have one layer of cardstock. No big deal. Run it through there. Oh, there's our frame. Looky there. Looks pretty good too, I think. Okay. It came right off the back. I'll put these away later. I'll set them up there and I'll put my dies away later. Hopefully, they're pretty big. I probably won't lose them. So this is going to go right here. And I'm going to just go ahead and glue it on there right now. Now I'm going to use liquid glue, and I'm going to use, like, not a lot, but more than usual, because I want to be able to slide this into place. So instead of little dots, I'm going to put a big stream, which isn't even a big stream because I'm using my precision tip bottle, but like I said, usually I do little dots. This time I want a little bit of glue on there so I can slide it into place and it won't adhere all the way right away. And since we use the same size on the inside of this one, it's going to line up perfect and just lay right there. So far, so good, right? Cute! Okay, let's get stuff ready and do some stamping really quick, because we got to even do more die cutting. But that's okay. I got a strip here that I'm going to stamp my bats on, and I'm going to stamp those. Oh, let me grab, I forgot my ink, so I'm grabbing my ink real quick. I'm going to stamp those in black memento ink. And you saw, well, my card's put away now, so you just have to trust me that we're going to make 3. We're going to do 3 of these. 1. And make sure with this little bat, because he's a solid image, that you hold that little bat down on your paper and let that ink really sink in so he comes out nice and dark. And then 3. There we go. Then we need a little ghost. And I'm even going to do my ghost on thick white, just in case. And where's my ghost stamp? Here he is. No, there I was thinking of the wiper card. I need to do the wiper card on the thick. It doesn't matter. This is thick, but it won't matter. Because the wiper, when the ghost pops out of the graveyard, I am really having trouble today. Anyway, there's my ghost. While we're stamping, I do have a piece here that's basic white, 5 1/4 by 4, and this is just the back of the card. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp that Happy Halloween right here. And then let me grab a piece of scratch paper. because I'm going to ink up that ghost again in black, but I want him lighter, so I guess now you would call it gray. And then when I stamp him here, he kind of looks like that lighter, well, he looks gray, but really he's stamped off black. Oh, and I forgot one more thing that I need to do. And I bet you I was supposed to use that piece. But we need our greeting circle, which I'm going to use these Spotlight on Nature circle dies. Will he fit? Oh, he will fit on there. And in fact, you know, I'm going to cut that out first and then stamp it so I make sure that I get it in the right place, because there's such a little border on my die here. Okay, so let me set all these aside. Now we have to cut all of those out. And I've set too much stuff aside and can't find my dies. Here they are. Okay, let's just grab that little ghost, that little bat, and then we have our circle. Okay, let's do some die cutting again. Really, we can probably, we're going to lay our little circle like that. We can put our little ghost like this. And since he's such a fine line, I'm going to use some tape to hold him down, especially when you have multiples on your plate like this. It's easier when you hold them down. And then let's tear this off, and we'll do our little ghost, or bat. And we're going to have to do 3 of these, so we have to run it through a couple more times, but it won't take very long. And it's so cute, it's so worth it. There we go. Couldn't find my top plate. Here he is. I don't think, nope, you know, I'm going to take down my back too. What the heck, we'll just tape them all down. Since that's a little piece of paper. There we go. All right, let's cut those out. Okay, so we have our circle, we have our ghost, we have one bat. I'm going to quickly die cut those other 2. You'll have to let me know, do you make Halloween cards? Do people send you Halloween cards? Do you like to make little Halloween projects for your grandkids, your bowling buddies? You never know, maybe you have bowling buddies too. And when I say bowling, I mean the sport of bowling, the rolling the ball down the lanes and hitting the pins. That's what I mean by bowling. Rodney is my bowling buddy. Just don't ask him. He would probably say that I am his bowling buddy too. Okay, there we go. Now I'll put my dies away later. I set them over here on a little magnetic thing so they won't get lost. But now we have all of our pieces. All we have to do is, oh, I'll put that on the magnetic thing, is stamp on here. So again, with that black ink, and part of that stamp set says boo to you. And I always want to put it upside down, probably because to me, oh, it is upside down now. That B kind of looks upside down, but it's stinking cute. So let's get my head in the camera and stamp this right down here on the circle. While that's resting or sinking in, I'll put this away, clean up a little bit, because now it's time. I just thought of one more piece. No, I didn't. I cut my little half-inch black piece, right? Yep, here he is. This. Let's fold this. The only other thing we need is a piece of window sheet. That's what I forgot to cut. So we'll cut that right now. Like this. Well, let's throw this inside first, and then I'll cut my... Okay, where's my tape? Here it is. If it was right in front of me too. That's really sad. Okay, we're going to put a little bit of tape on the back of this. and then just stick this in here. Like that. Let's cut our window sheet. Don't forget this piece too. So my window sheet is about 1/2 inch by 3 3/4. And I think this little scrap here is, yeah, it's a little bit longer than that, but it's close enough. And if we need to, it's easier to put it in there and then cut it down than it is to try to not have enough. So too much, it doesn't matter. Okay, now, where were we at? Now we have our window sheet, and I'm never going to find it again. So you guys tell me. I'm going to put it on top of my bats, or on top of my white thing so I can see it again. Okay, now remember this one, what we scored at 1/2 inch, 1 inch, and then 1/2 inch from the other side. We're actually going to fold it like this. See how it looks like that? And then we're going to glue, this is the fold right here, we're going to glue these two pieces together and keep this open. This is going to be our mechanism that helps us to get our pendulum a-swinging. Hi, Glinda. Knowing me, I'm going on and all over the place today, Glinda. You missed a lot of entertainment. Okay, just going to pinch this for a minute and let that that glue do its thing. That looks pretty good. So while that's finishing drying, I'm going to grab a brad. Remember we talked about any brad would work. I have, if you're a hoarder, these are from Stampin' Up. Retired a long time ago. I made sure I had enough in case I ever needed more brads. There's a little tiny black one like that. That's the one I'm going to use. Although, like I said, if it's bigger, it works too. Okay, then with the hole punch, and I'm using a little tiny hole punch because my little brad is tiny and I don't want it to go through. Oh, and your gym buddies. I could see your grandsons, and I'm not surprised. Sorry, Connie says that she makes Halloween cards and crafty things for her grandsons and for her gym buddies. Now, that sounds like fun. I can hardly wait to see what you come up with, Connie. Okay, back to this. Sorry about that. I'm going to just punch a hole where the glue is. So this piece is like this, and I'm going to punch a hole where that glue is. And just somewhere in the center. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just something like that. And then on my window sheet, I'm going to come and punch a hole in there too. Get away. Okay. Now, if you didn't have a brad and you wanted to use the dimensional, like I said, you would make this hole big enough that your dimensional would fit through there, right? Because we talked about that earlier, how this card, right, was made using a dimensional rather than a brad. Instead of attaching the brad through the paper like we're going to do like this, you would put a dimensional through there, and so that hole has to be big enough for a dimensional. And I hope that makes sense, but maybe it doesn't. Okay. So this part is optional, but I think it swings a lot better when you do this next step. So with a pair of scissors, can you see my little, no you can't, maybe this way, can you see that little tiny hole in my thing? I'm going to cut these two corners off. Now if you had a corner rounder, that would work, but then we'd have to go find it, so I'm going to just slice, and let's see, maybe you can see it on here. See how I've sliced those two corners off? Because sometimes those corners get hung up on the top of your card, right? Okay, so we're going to take our brad, we're going to send it through the window sheet, and then we're going to send it through our little mechanism like this. Okay, now we don't want that brad tight, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my tweezers, and I'm going to kind of hold on, sure you are, Kathy, to my brad, oh brother, like this. And then when I open those prongs, it gives it a little bit of room. See how it has the room in the brad? No, I don't think you can see. No. Maybe you can understand what I'm saying, because we need to have a lot of room so that this piece really swings back and forth. Now my brad is super long, so when I cut those little prongs off, and I'm going to grab my rubber scissors. Anybody remember these? Haven't seen those in a while. Well, you have in my craft room. Oh, I don't know where that piece went, but I use them all the time. But we're going to cut off those prongs. If you have brads as long as I do, That way, now, look how this moves really easy. Okay, looky there. You didn't order any Halloween or Christmas Designer Series paper? Connie, what are you gonna do now? You gotta have Halloween and Christmas Designer Series paper. Okay, let's fold these open like this, right? We have this little piece here, and this is gonna go in our card. I want the brad to be facing up, and I'm gonna glue it just like this. So the fold is on that score line of our card, hopefully in the center. Oh, you can see it? Oh, good deal, thank you. Because I don't want to confuse you guys, and I want you to make a bunch of these. I think these are really cute. Plus, that would be awful if you couldn't see anything I was doing. Although sometimes I talk enough. What did you call me, Glinda Chatty Cathy? So it looks like that. See how I'm putting that piece right there, right on the fold, and that way when it closes, it does leave a bump in there, but yet now watch, this little thing swings back and forth pretty freely. It needs some weight on there, but it can move back and forth. Okay, now let's use this piece. We're gonna fold this way. The middle one is a mountain, and then the other two are valleys. I think. I am not good at that. I want it to look like this. I live in Colorado, so there's no such thing as a valley. It's all mountains. I'm going to make sure that's nice and crisply folded, because this is going to be what holds our card up. So I'm going to put some glue right here, just on that 1/2 inch tab. And then I'm going to glue this to the front bottom of our card right here. Looks like that. Well, I think, Glinda, I could probably confuse you. That's very true. Especially if it's easy. Okay, then we're going to put some glue here on this 1/2 inch tab on the other side, and we're going to close our card. And I should have made sure that nothing was hanging over. See how this is hanging over the edge? That's going to bother me, and I'm going to try to cut it. And I should have done it when it's flat, because now we're going to cut through a bunch of pieces of cardstock. But I'm going to make sure. There we go. Looky there. Now it matches up, and this is all adhered down. So now it's going to stand just like that. All right. While we're at it, let's go ahead and add the back. I lost my adhesive again. Oh, it's right here. Good Lord. Oh, well. Okay, this is going to go on the back here. And if we were smart, we would have done it when the card was flat. It might have been a little bit easier, but it worked out just fine that way. Now, can you see my little thingy in here? No, you can't. Okay, I can see them in there. So now we're going to just add our bats. Now we got to make sure that it doesn't drag on the bottom, and mine doesn't. He's just long enough so there's nothing keeping him from going back and forth. Now I'm going to use glue dots on my bat wings, and we're going to just attach them to that little window sheet. Easy peasy. So on the bat, I want him to go this way, so I'm only going to put a glue dot on the tip of his wing here, on this side of the wing. And we're going to put him right there, tuck him in there, and then on this one, we will put his glue dot on this wing. And then I think I'll put my ghost on to see where my third little bat is going to go. So just up the middle of my goat. I keep saying goat. Ghost. I don't know what I have against ghosts, but see, so he's just got two little glue dots right up the center. Let's hang him about there. He still moves nicely back and forth. And then with our third bat, we'll go back to this side of the wing. I think I'm going to put him closer to the middle of him, and he can sit. Oh, maybe not. Maybe that was a bad idea. No, I'm going to just put him right there. Look how cute. And now, if you needed to, you could take your little window sheet. See how long mine is? I'm going to just trim off that excess right there. And now, see how they swing back and forth in there? And they swing a lot better when it's standing up. Now it swings freely. Not quite as freely as my last one, but I'll probably play with him some more and see why he's not swinging. Oh, there we go. He was stuck on stuff up there. Okay, there we go. Last thing we're going to do is take this. I'm going to punch out all those little extra die cuts that don't come out. And the more you play with the little pendulum part, the better it starts to swing. So if yours isn't swinging real freely at the very beginning, keep playing with it and it will. I don't know what it does different. It breaks that hole up there a little bit at the top to make more freedom. I don't know. So I'm going to take this and we're going to put it right here. How cute that is. Do you see how he swings around? Thank you, Glenda. Okay, and then last, we have to put some of those little ghost embellishments on there that I have set right here, because they are so cute with the little faces on there. Oh, and I lost the packaging. All I got was the sheet. That's okay. And I want to put one right here. And one right here. So there you go. There it is. There's the pendulum card. Like I said, the first one I ever watched. Thank you, Ron. Thank you, Glenda. I thought it turned out really cute, too. We got to give Dawn Griffin some credit because she's the one that made it so many years ago. But look how cute they are. I love them. Not to mention all the stuff I showed you in the beginning. The little boxes. All the cards, which have escaped me. Nope, my little, this is the swiper card. The little bat says hello, hello. That's a cute one. Nope, I can't. Oh, here's the other one. The little frame bats. Not going to share that one. The little kitty cats that don't necessarily have to be Halloween. The night scene using that gray embossing folder. My favorite layout. There you go. There's all my projects that I had to share with you tonight. Now, be sure and come back next Monday and I'll show you, I can't remember what bundle, but I have another bundle for you and I'll show you something to make with that bundle from the July online exclusives. Also, well, Stampin' Up! Has some really exciting news, so stay tuned and in the next couple of days, I will share some exciting stuff with you. So be sure and come back and see what I'm doing, usually Monday nights about 7. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.